I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey fam, welcome to another episode of Summer House, episode 3, Worst Date Ever. I'm your host, Akila Friend, and I'm joined by two of my lovely co-hosts. First we have Amelia Side. Yes, and the fabulous Trina Dong.
Yes.
We are all here today because we have a mutual love and hate, love and respect, love and whatever the fuck for Summer House.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, let's talk about this episode, Worst Date Ever. We are only on episode 3, and child, it's gonna be a long summer. Ooh. Long summer. What did you think?
Oh my God, that date. I'm sorry, like this, I'm a man, but disclaimer to all men out there. Stop being lazy. You were taking a Postmate date. He didn't even unwrap the food and took it to her apartment's rooftop. And at one point, the poor girl sat down and said, I got ready to go out.
Right.
Like, hello?
She got super... When you come to the date with a bottle of rosé and she's coming with fireball shots, you know you're on 2 different pages.
You're on 2 different dates.
You're on 2 different dates.
2 different dates,
2 different
Akila.
dates.
Oh.
It doesn't make sense.
It was the worst everything ever episode. There was nothing not worst about anything that happened. I hated to love all of it and agree. The worst part, going back to that, and I know we're going to talk about it more, but just the effect of popping open to-go plastic.
Not sexy.
It lives in here right now. It's not cute.
You do that alone on a Friday night. Not with a man.
No.
At my place. I just...
Messy
That's
boo.
such a good point. But we have a whole little section on Carl and Lindsay because there's so much to unpack. But overall thoughts in general, like what did you think about... Just what do you think about this episode? It started off with it did start off with Carl and Lindsay, but then it moved kind of on to Kyle and Amanda. We saw, Hannah and Luke. We saw Jules open up more, like everything. What did you all think?
I mean, I got the luxury of talking to Mr. Luke himself tonight.
You did?
I did, and I recognized Hannah's eyebrows. She was in the shot. She popped out. She was the surprise.
Oh, my God.
So I've got some pearls for you guys that we're going to get into their little situation.
A little behind the scenes.
Yes, we're going to get a little behind the scenes. So I'm
and
very
behind
excited.
the sheets, maybe? Okay.
Maybe. I mean, the chemistry, honey, was so good at moments. I think Hannah, this is verbatim from her mouth. She said, "Are we a throuple now?"
Oh.
So I don't know. I'm part of it. So it was very exciting.
Listen, that's gonna be great. We're gonna plug into this interview so much more like later. It's so great. Amir is like probably the best person to be able to talk to these people.
real.
So this is amazing.
I feel like I know them. Like that's really my impression of the show. If people don't watch it, because a lot of people watch Real Housewives or Married to Medicine, etc., and they don't watch Summer House because they're like, but it is literally the best show on Bravo.
So good.
Like I love it.
So good. Yeah. It didn't have a good intro. When you hear of Summer House, you're like, okay, the Hamptons.
Silly.
What is this? Whatever.
Yeah. Silly.
But all you need is one episode, and then all of a sudden you're like, what?
These people? Who are these people?
We need to know them.
Oh my gosh.
I already know them.
Exactly.
Like, these are my people. Okay, well, you talked about Hannah, but let's talk about the fact that, Luke and Hannah and Armand, like, what is this situation going on? Like,
I think I understand Hannah. I get where she's coming from because she's trying not to push and she's trying not to be aggressive and be like, be my boyfriend now, be my boyfriend now. And so she's trying to play it cool with everybody else.
Yeah.
Because everybody's going to ask about it. All these guys are always asking.
Right,
Always need to ask.
right.
And so she's trying to protect herself, but also keeping, her game going at the same time. So I get where she's coming from. I don't think she's hurting Luke as far as what's happened,
She's being pretty fair.
and honest.
Literally
She's
hashtag strategy. She
100%.
She said that. She
Strategy
said that.
She's open strategy.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no hiding. So I
She's
think
not shady. She's a very honest girl, and she's not playing any games. And I think the person that really annoys me out of all this is not even Hannah and Luke, is Carl getting involved in their business. Stay in your lane, honey. Your relationship is a mess.
Yes,
Like,
consistently
focus.
asking. The minute we get to a group dinner, we know Carl's question is going to be, so what's going on with you guys?
Hannah, what's
going
up?
on? What's going on?
Did you? Are you official? It's like,
Right.
and then it's funny because he starts that, and then he pisses off Lindsay. It's just messy boots.
It's messy.
they're all trying to ask each other because they don't want to deal with their own stuff. So they're like, but okay, I'm going to point at you because they won't talk about me. I'm going to point at you because we won't talk about me. And they're just going to do it for the
They're
rest of the
deflecting. This episode should be called Worst Deflection Ever.
best.
Oh, maybe
Best deflection
Oh,
ever.
It's
Trina,
true.
you're right.
They're
Yes,
killing
you're
it.
right.
But Luke also mentioned that I feel feel like he loves this banter. He says if it's too easy, he's not interested. We've heard this before, and we're like, okay, you know, how much is too much game, or how much is too much kind of deflecting on Hannah's part to potentially push him away? Like, who knows?
I guess it depends on expectations. I feel like they both don't have any. And so
they're just having fun.
Yeah, you can play the game until someone, like I said, starts getting hurt, and that's when expectations pop in. So I think right now he is having fun because there's nothing that's doing him dirty.
Absolutely. And not to tease my interview constantly, but this came up in our interview. They both said we came into this house to have a fun summer.
Yeah.
He's coming from a serious relationship that ended after 3 years. She's coming in with just like, she's in this unofficial relationship. She's like, I'm open. We're both trying to have fun. So that's a good little tidbit.
That's
fits
great.
into what Trina was saying.
You see, you know how Luke and Hannah are able to comment and talk about, you know, the episode and their interest in this whole series. So should you guys, AfterBuzzers. Yes. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe. Just get involved with this. It makes it that much more fun. Ask us questions. Tell us what you want to know from some of these people, because obviously we got the plugs and we can make it happen. So feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to this episode and that much more on YouTube. Ding. Love that ding.
It always gives me life.
Love that ding. Love that ding. Well, we basically are talking about it, but let's dive right in. Carl and Lindsay. Carl and Lindsay.
It just gets worse and worse.
It just gets worse and worse. So this first date, Carl finally decides, you know, in the last episode, Carl asked Lindsay out and says, you know, I want to take you on a date. They go on a Wednesday, but the date is to a couple floors up in her apartment building. And there they discuss so much that you generally don't discuss on a first date. Right. Like, you know, what did you all think of what happened? What do you think about their relationship?
Take it, Trina. She has opinions.
First of all, fireball, bad idea, always and forever. Second, I think that they ask the hard-hitting questions because they have been friends for so long, so it's confused. The lines are blurred and confusing.
They have that history.
Yeah. What are you supposed to be asking? What are you, you know what I mean? Like, what's
Right.
appropriate for a first date? Because they have all this other stuff.
True.
And so they're talking about marriage, commitment, and all of these things that the rest of us on a first date, we would run down the stairs screaming. So I think that's why it's so complicated, because they both feel one way, but also they feel another way at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's really well said. I think it's they're like having the same struggle running parallel.
Right.
So he has a fear of commitment that's stemming from his F-boyery throughout the season, his past relationships, his parents. He really opened up to her, and I think a lot of times this is why toxic masculinity is so negative. Yeah. Even Lindsay exhibited her wanting him to be toxically masculine.
Definitely.
Because she was like, you're being too real. And all he said was, I'm broken because of my family, and she didn't want to hear it. And she is coming from kind of the psychological high horse and saying, I don't have any problems. My mom just abandoned me.
Yes.
Girl!
And so the only thing I'm scared of is commitment. And I'm like, well, this is you're saying the same problem, but
Just
you're obviously
different
saying it in
ways.
different ways.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's like he started this whole conversation with Lindsay saying, like, I feel like I can be myself around you. I feel like, you know, this is the first time I'm being myself. I'm saying it like it is and whatever. And then he shares what seems to be one of the biggest issues that he faces in life. And she immediately like shut him down. I don't know if it was a fireball or if that's just Lindsay as a person, but
she did that with Everett too, if you remember.
Oh, yes.
She would shut him down too. And he, coming from a veteran, super male, she likes a very strong man, which is fine. Like, I find that attractive too when a man is really in charge. But the problem is when men that are in those positions, like very hyper masculine, share and you shut it down,
you're just it's going to be that much harder to get them to open back up.
Yes,
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
they close up like a clam, honey.
For sure. And it seemed like there was no coming back from that, but. Then one more shot and they were fine. You know?
She like left and came back.
Yeah. She ended up taking the lap that she told him to take so many times. And she was just like, you know what? I'm okay with this. Let's continue on with this date. So I don't know if this is just foreshadowing of the fact like this relationship is not going to work, or it's going to be too much passion. Too much passion that can turn into toxicity because they're just not... They don't know how to really talk to each other and really get to the core.
To not hear him.
Yeah.
She's trying so hard to not hear what he's saying. And then when remember when he was like, that was actually exactly about me. You're being passive aggressive. And she's like, because it's just like she's trying to not
She disrespected
understand.
him. Yeah, she did. And and I'm not trying to say like all women, but there are many times where women, when it comes to a man, they sometimes will say things just because they're frustrated,
Yeah.
but it really bruises our egos. And listen, I'm still a man, I'm fabulous, but I'm still a man. And at the end, right? And at the end of the day, like, I have a very strong ego in a relationship as well. So when that gets bruised, a lot of times I've dated people and I know that friends that have said things to their boyfriends like, whatever, like, stop being so emotional, get over it. And then that, like, kind of like what happened with Kyle and Mando, which we'll get to, she also shut him down.
Shut it down.
You can't shut men down because they have trouble coming back from rejection.
Especially because I think this is one of the few spaces where men truly open up is in their relationship. They don't do that. It doesn't seem that way, you know, from some of like seeing some of my guy friends hang out with each other. It doesn't seem like they do that with their other guy friends. It's more like
they just
when
grunt.
they grunt, they lift weights, they you know,
each other in the butt.
That whole thing.
Well, Carl is like, he's opening up, right?
Yeah.
But then he's saying, but I don't want to.
But I don't want to do this.
And so he's like giving the thing that someone would want to hear, but then he's also saying, but I'm not going to do this thing.
Yep.
And that doesn't make any sense to me because he's opening up, so he's vulnerable.
Yeah.
But he's saying that I'm not going to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's like, what is anybody talking about ever?
Oh, that's a good, a good perspective, and that's probably why Lindsay was just set off. Like, okay, what are you actually doing? Right.
Huh, I kind of disagree with what you guys are saying. I understand what you're saying, but I think when it comes to the male psyche, when you open up and then you are going to always be contradictory. Men want to be loved and appreciated and seen, but their biggest fear is to be laughed at. So when she was kind of laughing at it and kind of not taking it seriously, that shut him off.
But when you don't put 2 feet in, i.e. when you say, let's go on a date, but I'm going to your rooftop. When you say, let's go on a date, but I'm bringing cartoon boxes. When you say, let's go on a date, but I'm bringing twist cap rosé, I'm definitely going to be like, are you serious or are you not? Is this going to be your first chance or is this going to be # worst date ever?
And then so you talk a serious
and then
game,
you talk,
but then it doesn't match what you're doing, but then it does match the other stuff you're doing, like the kissy, touchy, that stuff, the little cute stuff. The cute stuff is what we know to be like from here, right? And so it's just very complicated.
Can I disagree one more time?
Of course.
Sorry, as the resident man in the room, I'm going to disagree one more time. Because I think that in his mind, coming from, again, I don't know Carl personally, but from the seasons when with Danielle and one of the twins, he thinks that this is way upgraded, right? Y'all remember they broke the bed. Yeah. Listen, like he treated these girls like trash. And that's another reason why Danielle is not believing this relationship. We'll get to that.
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say with this is that Carl thinks this is so much better than what he was doing. I brought food. I'm not trying to sleep with her. I am at her apartment. I'm making it convenient. I'm appreciating her. I'm being honest and vulnerable. Where before he would like, it was a dine and dash, but he was not eating. You know, so I think there is some of these dynamics that in his mind he's like, I'm so much better. You know, and I've had friends where they're like, well, I'm better because I'm not cheating on her.
Right.
That is a low bar.
That's true. And she's seen all those stages, so it's kind of like,
she's
meet me where I'm at now. You know this is growth.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, speaking of stages, we're talking about Danielle as well. She was definitely at, 5 years ago is when they first met. And 5 years ago, Carlito was in the streets. Poppy was in the streets. And,
yes, he was.
And Danielle was right there with him. And Danielle, now that she's hearing from Lindsay's behalf and obviously seeing the PDA with Carl and Lindsay, is really just like, is this real?
Yeah.
Why are you guys doing this? Like, seems real Debbie Downer-ish. Like, what do you all think about Danielle in this
First
situation?
of all, she's like a runner-up for the one-liners in the show.
Yes.
And we'll talk about who's number one.
Yes.
Way to tease that one, Trina.
I love it.
But I think that I think it's really rude to overexpose like a relationship, no matter what level it is, in front of someone's ex. Even if they're your best friend, even if they're anything. So no matter what you say, you're going to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
So you can lie until the cows come home and you say, I'm over him, he didn't matter, good luck, whatever, I'm afraid for you. But what you're saying is like you feel something a little bit, no matter who you are.
You're saying Danielle's feeling
Danielle,
something.
100%.
Because remember when she laughed? She was like, this is funny. And, and she was laughing when she told her that was not funny.
That was not that funny at all.
Because it's sad, the kissy, touchy. And then when she said they were trying to kiss in the car and she was like, well, I couldn't kiss him because you were being this and this. Well, you shouldn't.
Right.
Like, you shouldn't in front of him. So she can be Debbie Downer to me. She can be nasty because I think that they're doing too much.
But when is it finally going to be like, okay, you have to get over it?
Because it's been a while.
It's been a while. I understand how it's weird.
Right.
But if you're going to go from being his ex to being his friend, his best friend, like this is... you're opening yourself up to always being exposed to him talking to other people. You know?
You leave it. You go away.
Mm-hmm. You don't be friends but they hang out so much.
Yeah. You don't spend time at the summer house.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you make your choices on what you're going to choose to be around because you know what's there.
But babe, what I'm trying to say is that they hang out outside of the show regularly. Like, the three of them are besties.
Well, but then when a relationship changes, we all have to do that.
That's true.
We all got to do the work.
Yeah,
we all got to do the work.
Well, the work is rough.
Listen. But I just loved it when she was like, you're the only one that knows him. Or what did she say?
She was like, you're the only one that the only one, and you're like,
funny.
She said it twice.
Yes.
Because
so good.
True.
Yeah.
Like people knew him other than you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Stop.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And she was intimate with him, and and they had a full blown relationship.
A thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely had a thing. Oh,
a lot to digest, people. I'm getting hot. I gotta take this off. It's getting hot.
There's so much going on. Well, then we see. I think the last cast member in the summer house is all the cases of Loverboy. That's in there.
Amen.
Literally all the cases.
For the rest of the time.
Like Kyle was like, okay, Amanda's not doing her job as social media marketer, so I'm just gonna bring cases and boxes and cases, and you are going to see these Loverboys.
Everybody walking in and out like with them is the most. It's the
like,
most.
Literally.
Yeah. It's good marketing. I mean,
great.
It's great
do you
marketing.
even need her?
But it's a cartoon.
Do you even need Amanda, as the head of marketing?
No.
Just have all the cast members drink it.
And Amanda is telling you, do this. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, she literally
hate you.
I hate you so much.
This love-hate, mostly hate relationship, I really need to delve into this with you guys. Like Kyle and Amanda. When we say Kyle and Amanda, we just all collectively,
because it's so upsetting.
Just sigh, just like rolls eyes. We don't know at this point. I'm saying we, but like I don't know how to feel about these two. I'm kind of like, should they just call it quits? Is this kind of one of those bump in the road situation? Like, let's talk about first of all the wedding. Yeah. Kyle and Amanda was missing from the first weekend because they went to a wedding where,
there was no sex.
They didn't do anything. Where they just went to a wedding.
They literally went to a wedding.
What is a hotel room for?
Right.
If you're with your,
at least
Beyonce?
To say, I love you or something.
Right.
Anything. They didn't do anything.
Not 11 p.m. and I'm tired.
Yeah. It was on video.
Literally on video.
It was even on video because at first I was like maybe, but there's video proof. And she does this thing where she turns away from him. And again, I don't mean to be a psychologist, but male psyche. If men don't get it in, we think there's something really pathologically wrong with the relationship. I'm not saying that sex fixes everything. I'm just saying even just
give us
hold
a
my
semblance
hand.
of hope.
Something.
Right.
He doesn't even, he's not saying, suck my dick. Right. He's saying hold me, talk to me, acknowledge me. Don't be pissed when I walk into the room. And you said that is this just a bump in the relationship? It's been 2 seasons. How big is the bump?
True. We are in canyons. I don't even canyons. It's crazy. Yeah. And also the fact that obviously this pre-4th of July plan and her coming back. And even when she was shopping with Hannah, she was just like, I'm just excited to see the girls, like not necessarally Kyle. Like
there was care about it.
We can literally tally how many things she said about Kyle this episode that was just like, okay.
And all like
it was so bad. I think at one point she said amazingly awful.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, like, and when they watch this back and they're watching this back now as a couple, I'm just like, you guys,
how can you
what
not?
are we doing?
Yeah.
They need a counselor. I think her dad should step in as counselor.
Yeah.
The dad has opinions. He needs, they need to get a counselor, or the dad needs to kind of counsel them. Someone needs to step in and be like, guys, this is
what is happening?
Hot mess. Yeah.
I think they need to say realer things to each other.
Yeah.
And not just smack talk each other because they're both doing it. Like she's mad harsh and she's saying she's the one-liner winner, by the way.
Yes.
What did she say? You're not nice enough to be lover boy.
You're not, and she's like, zing, 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 throwing him the whole time.
Don't get too close to me.
But then when he tries to talk too, he says, he was like, it's boring, when she goes to sleep.
But she said, I'm going to dick punch you.
No. But yes, but I mean, when he's trying to talk about it, nobody's talking about things in a realistic sense.
He's trying to be hurtful. And again, I think that when men get cornered, we say really hurtful things. I told my ex, I was like, if I never saw you, I would be fine.
Right.
I didn't mean that.
But it's one of those things where it's like.
But it was a zinger.
Yes.
You know? And it was a fight over the dishwasher. Right. Like sometimes you really don't know where it's gonna go. Yeah. And so I think that we just have to be a little patient. I hope they can figure it out. Because when they were good, they were good.
They were
and
really
remember,
good.
when she was single, she was good.
She
got 10 numbers.
Listen, Amanda is
of
fun.
course.
Yeah.
Come
gorgeous.
on, right.
But she did cry.
Yeah.
And so the tears of her not wanting to talk about not being intimate or whatever, and then just brushing him off, and then suddenly there were tears.
Yeah.
So there's deep stuff happening that she is choosing not to tell anyone.
And not on camera either.
Yes.
She doesn't want to talk about it on camera.
And I think that's why she got mad. She was like, you're going to bring this up now.
You're being an asshole,
yes.
that's why.
And just wants, and then just cried. And once the tears hit, it's like you've reached a point of where you can't anymore.
You can't.
And that's male kryptonite. So you cry, men will, honey, you want a man out the room, you cry. They will leave like this. You're like, where'd he go? Like there's a wall shape, he's out the wall.
And he's going to go downstairs, Carl's going to be in the kitchen, he's going to be like, she's crying. You're like, oh, what'd you do?
Girls are so emotional.
Like, it's too much. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what was some well, actually it wasn't, but she also opened up Jules. I was gonna say with Paige.
Yeah.
And at first we were like, okay, this is another instance of Jules just trying to be Paige. but then she finally opened up about the idea. Well, not the idea, but her dad passing, and it was a cool moment to see that, okay, they can actually be friends.
I liked it. You know? I liked it. She said I wouldn't erase all his memories. I thought that was really, like, I got chills. I got kind of emotional because and I know how Middle Eastern families are set up with the dad and at the center of it. And, you know, it's so I felt like Paige was there for her in a really nice way. It was very sweet.
It was very sweet. It was very sweet. But you can tell that's something that she still needs to work through. For
sure. She said something real.
Yeah.
And that's all anybody ever wants.
That's all we want. That's all we want. Speaking of real, you know what was real cute, real catchy? The skirts that we saw that both Paige and Jules wore. Let's bring some levity in here. Let's talk about the fashion.
Fashion.
Okay, so let's get serious. Let's talk about this Hamptons fashion that we see all the time. It's always white. It's always fluffy. And they rock it. They kill it. They really do lay down exactly what Hamptons in the summer looks like.
They're hitting those boot camps for sure.
Absolutely. They're killing it. So the first one was
Danielle.
Danielle with
white.
Look at that. With the earrings, honey. Yes.
She's killing it. And look how simple that is. It's just simple and cute and great.
Yes.
But then what do we got? We got an offender.
Calling to the stage.
We got
repeat offender.
A two-time offender of stealing a look.
The worst offense you can commit.
Oh my gosh, we're stealing Paige's looks, Jules.
Come on, girl.
This time we wore her the same Forever 21 skirt. Like, it's a cute skirt. It's amazing.
It's super cute.
Everybody should be wearing it.
Right.
But stop stealing or admit it or something because we remember the shirt.
Yes.
Well, she can eBay that now, girl, because Forever 21 is bankrupt and it's on the show. You can eBay that shirt, honey. I might buy it.
And if you're gonna repeat, not a week later. No. Give it a wash cycle before you're like.
But the best part is Paige is like, if you want to copy me, okay. And then you're like, exactly. It's too much.
It's too much, and I think it's not flattering anymore.
It's not.
No, it's not. And it's not cute.
And listen, the right way to do fashion is to get Margaret involved. So we have Paige and Margaret working together. So not Jules, Paige.
Yeah.
Sorry, my girl Jules. It's Paige. So she's working with Margaret Joseph, who has her own lifestyle brand.
Tell people what you should know Margaret Joseph if you're a Bravo fan. But
yes, honey, she's from Real Housewives of New Jersey. She is killing it. She's been on this show for about 3 seasons now. She's really great. She has her own line, and Paige jumped in and is not only modeling but helping with design.
Yes.
So I love Bravo.
Yes.
Bravo celebrities meeting and connecting. It's everything.
All the interest.
It's good stuff. Those brands work.
Yes.
Those brands sell.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And then from there, we're going to take a nice little left into the house because the house looks different.
Yes.
It's been refurbished.
Yes.
The kitchen, the bedrooms, everything's been redone.
Yeah.
Everything.
So it's fabulous. So it's really giving us life. And not to kind of take another left, but we're making you
it's all news. It's all news.
It's all news. It's all just news. So what we're gonna really need is for me to jump right in about my interview.
Yes,
I want to give you guys all that tea. I'm gonna spill the tea if I didn't have to clean it up. So I had a call with Luke, and he was so sweet. We're gonna have him live, but he was like, a girl has to sleep. He didn't say that, I'm saying that. Oh. He's a model, so he needs his beauty sleep. Yeah. And it's late in New York, so I get it. So he jumped on for a Skype call, and we got on there, and like I told you guys earlier, I saw Hannah's eyebrows. And I knew, I was like, someone else is here. Yes. So she jumped up, and it was Luke's surprise. And mind you, it was 11 p.m. So I brought that up in the interview. I was like, why is she is a classy lady. Why is she at your apartment? He said,
after 10 is not your friend.
But a friend is. Anytime, honey, anytime. Anytime, I got you, girl. And so her response was that I bribe him so I come over and I can cook and eat with him.
That is amazing.
So I was like, I don't know who's bribing who.
Right.
And he was being so sweet, and it was such a great interview. They were so open and honest. And we jumped in, we talked about, him coming into the house, the fears he had, and how Kyle kind of brought him into the summer house and was like, just be yourself, like, don't overthink it. And Luke came in, he was like, I broke up 5 months ago, I was super emotional, and I was like nervous about like doing this and being on national TV and all of that. And he's like, even sharing his relationship, he was like, I was really anxious about that, and I got a lot of support, and it's been great. Like, awesome. And so it was a great interview, and then Hannah jumped in, and she was talking about being a competitor and how she kind of feels like a lot of people come up to her, which is really funny. They're like, you're so funny, you're so relatable, and she's like, but am I hot? Like, she's like, but am I hot? So that was really, really great. And I think at this episode, she said, when I saw Luke, my vagina was tingling. So
yes, she did.
They sideswiped a lot of my questions. They stepped around the landmines that I I put out there. And their rose and thorn was, both of them, their rose was that they met each other. And Hannah's thorn was amazing that she said she wished she got less involved in Carl and Lindsay's relationship.
Wow.
Meaning, shit is gonna hit that fan. Do they ever run the fan in the Hamptons? But I don't know. That's just gonna hit it.
Central air.
Honey, it's gonna hit it. So, and then Luke, his thorn was that he wanted to say something, and she said, "Don't you go there." And it was something about a hookup or something.
Oh, people are gonna have to tune in.
They're gonna have to tune in, honey, on AfterBuzz Reality. It's gonna the whole thing. It's about almost 20 minutes, so it gets we get in deep.
Yes.
And now I'm texting Hannah for all the people that care, and she has a show March 5th at I don't know where it is. We'll put it in the little show notes, but she's gonna be in LA doing stand up.
Nice.
So y'all should go support.
That's
y'all
amazing.
should go support.
That's stand up. Good for her.
She can do that. She can nail that.
Yeah, that's really her game. So it's good.
Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be good. All right, so tune in, you guys.
That's all the tea I got.
Interview. I mean, that's a lot of tea.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's a lot of tea. That's a whole separate episode, right?
It was a picture.
Right.
It was a picture.
And we were ready for it all. That's
Great,
amazing.
great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that. AfterBuzzers, tune in. That's it.
We're living.
Well,
honey.
let's talk about. I mean, those were a lot of predictions baked in, but let's really talk about some of the predictions that we saw.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So we saw some clips or some little tidbits of what's going to happen on this next episode. For one, we see the fact that there was just so much. I know Carl. I was like, Carlito, Carl and Lindsay. There's just gonna be more tension. I'm presuming that finally things are gonna really hit that boiling point with them and Danielle. Probably Danielle. She's vocal, so I think she's finally gonna be like,
come
listen,
for them.
This is what's happening. I am uncomfortable, or y'all need to figure it out and leave me out of it in a way. So I think that's one thing. What else do you guys think is gonna happen next episode?
4th of July party.
Yes.
I mean,
can't wait.
Listen,
Can't wait.
Debauchery that is going to cause all the other just giant volcanoes to erupt is going to be pretty insane. Everyone's going to keep hating each other.
Lindsay's in a mullet.
It's
bad.
It's like things are going to get much worse, but much better for us.
Right.
Yeah.
I see you. I like that. Last time we had kind of teased this about in the last episode about after, like Summer House After Dark, when they come in like there is going to be an episode where either Carl or Kyle are going to come home on that alone at like 5 a.m. in that like
that
dark
trail
camera.
Of tears. Yep.
Something's gonna happen that's gonna rock them, and I think this is just my prediction, but I think what's gonna end up happening is that Hannah's gonna run into Carl coming home from a random date and have to tell Lindsay, and Lindsay's not gonna believe her and turn on her. That's what I'm predicting, because what she said, there was a lot in her eyes in the interview. She was
in it,
trying to drop me some crumbs. So.
And Carl's gonna return to his ways.
He's gonna start hooking up with randoms, and I think this is my prediction on the like season finale. He's gonna come with some random chick and be like, "We've been going out like the whole time."
Because he did say in the preview that listen, Lindsay, we're not boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah,
so.
he's saying that on purpose.
Wow.
Just a lot of self-sabotage. That boy.
Truly.
He's walking self-sabotage in some shorts.
But we are here to see it all, Carl. We are here to see it all.
We are here for all of it, honey.
So until next time, y'all, this is the end of this episode, Worst Date Ever, where we talked about literally everything. Until then, you can find me on Instagram at AkilahFriend. That's AkilahFFriend. Amir, where can they find you?
They can find me on the Instagram, honey, at Amir, A-M-I-R, Yas, Y-A-S-S_.
You can find me at Hey Trina Dong on Twitter and Instagram.
Perfect.
Yes. All right. See y'all later.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.